So MAGA is finally turning on Trump. TJ calls it a cult. Okay, well, it's not a cult if people are pushing back against it. That's the opposite of a cult. And so, yes, there are some people who are loyal to Trump instead of being loyal to our country. Yes, that's weird to be loyal to a politician. A politician is supposed to be loyal to you. But most of the MAGA I know are very critical of Trump in many ways, way more critical than the Democrats I know are of their Democrat politicians, meaning Karen Bass here in Los Angeles, or Gavin Newsom, or Joe Biden, or Kamala Harris. To me, that was a real cult, and it still is. So here, so MAGA, it's like they you know how they say F around and find out. MAGA is now FAFO because they finally found out. Here we go.
I was wrong about Trump and this entire administration. It started with the Epstein files and all the BS that surrounded that. I'm
going to stop it for a second. And this is a former Trump supporter doing something that a Biden Kamala supporter would never be capable of doing, admitting that they were wrong. Okay, here we go.
When Trump and his whole team ran on exposing that, Kash Patel, Bongino, we're going to expose that if they had the power, and they never did. Pam Bondi saying she had the files on her desk, she saw the videos, nothing. And now the icing on the cake for me is this whole Charlie Kirk assassination narrative. If you believe that crap, if you believe the stuff coming from the feds, if you believe the text messages, you're an idiot, because that whole thing is completely bunk. Has Fed operation cover up written all over it. I'm done. And when you start looking at the videos, when you start analyzing that front wound right here on his neck, that was an exit wound. He was shot from behind. He was not shot from the front. They're covering it up. It's a massive cover up. And I'm done with this whole administration. They're all frauds. Trump is a fraud. Vance is a fraud. He's in bed with Peter Thiel and Palantir, scooping up all of our data for an AI database system that's going to track and follow us every digital step we go.
So just like the establishment got a black guy with a Muslim name, who is a great speaker and Barack Obama, to do the bidding of big banks and big pharma and big health insurance and the military industrial complex. They did that. So America wanted the big banks broken up. And if John McCain got elected, they would have rioted for it. But because a black guy got elected named Barack Obama, and he didn't do it, that completely silenced half the country that wanted that. Just same thing when he gave us a Heritage Foundation healthcare plan instead of a left-wing healthcare plan with a public option. So just like he took us from 2 wars to 7, America was done with those stupid Middle East wars, but they got a black guy to come in and do it, so it shuts down the natural opposition to that. This is the same thing they did with Trump and J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance and Trump in bed with Palantir and Peter Thiel, and they're ramping up the surveillance state beyond all comprehension, which naturally MAGA and the Republican conservative base is against that kind of stuff. They're against the surveillance state. But they get him to quiet down because they get J.D. Vance and Trump to do it. Just like the establishment got Barack Obama and Joe Biden to do their bidding with the wars and the banks and the healthcare. Now they get Trump to do their bidding with the Palantir and the surveillance state. It's almost brilliant. It is brilliant. Not almost. It's brilliant. But
dialectic.
And I don't understand what that means. What does that mean, Kurt?
It's the big Hegelian Marxism. It's the foundation of that and a lot of things. You have the union of opposites, these two forces fighting against each other. And then that's how you move progress, but they have to fight first. And then whatever settles out is the stronger, better thing. So gain of function research, you could call it.
What's that?
Gain of function is pretty similar to me to that. Just see what happens. What's the stronger thing after these things collide?
Oh, okay.
That's why I love racial division.
It is kind of brilliant how they've so yeah. Here we go.
Pam Bondi, she's a fraud. Kash Patel's fraud. Bongino, a fraud. It was my mistake thinking that Trump and this new, young administration would do anything different than they had before. I was already clued in that any other election in my lifetime, presidential election, going back to my childhood, no matter who the candidate was, it was two sides of the same coin. Whoever won, we would have got the same result, right? So
so that's the old, no matter who you vote for, you get John McCain. And that is 100% true. No matter who you vote for, you get John McCain. We voted for Trump as an anti-war person, and Trump, what does he do? He bombs Yemen, even though he ripped Joe Biden for bombing Yemen, said you don't have to do that. You could solve that with a phone call. He continues to fund the war in Ukraine, even though he would end that in 24 hours. He bombed Iran, and now he's looking to overthrow Venezuela under the false pretense of fighting a drug war.
Wow, I guess this is normal. I guess politics are normal and not abnormal, as Herr Reich.
And so that makes you realize, that old saying, if voting made a difference, they would make it illegal. And it just goes to show you voting doesn't make a difference, and that you don't live in a democracy. You live in an oligarchy, and no matter who gets elected, they get what they want, and you don't get anything. I mean, it is stunning to me to see the pictures coming out of China, not just one city in China, but all the cities in China, how beautiful they are, how modern they are, how futuristic they are, how their train travel is beyond what we could ever even conceive of in the United States. They're a much better society on that level. And we can't even our whole country's falling apart.
And all the things I don't like about China, Jimmy, are coming here, or they're here.
They're here.
They've been here, and
That's
they lied
right.
and pretending like you live somewhere different.
So
you're getting China with no flying cars and no monorail.
Yeah,
That's all you're getting.
You're getting China without the futuristic rail travel, without the futuristic cities, without the great infrastructure. But you get all the bad stuff. You get a Palantir surveillance state. You get a national ID, a real ID, they call it. It's all the same control that was during COVID. You're going to have a carbon footprint vaccine passport combination. You're going to have all that stuff. That's coming. That's here.
Well, China and England.
It's mostly here.
Britain, Keir Starmer announced the digital ID, and I was curious because I was like, does China have that?
Yeah.
I don't think they do. Well, they just got it the same week as Keir Starmer
announced.
Oh, no
kidding.
Hey, remember?
Yeah. No kidding.
So will we advance to China levels? Let's hope so, Jimmy.
Here we go.
Go back. Al Gore would have got the same result. John McCain, same result. John Kerry, same result. Mitt Romney would have got the same result. And Kamala, I guarantee we would have the same result. It doesn't matter. We got to wake up and realize that, as George Carlin said,
it's a big club. And you ain't in it.
It is the elites versus the little people. It's not a left and right issue. Yeah, we can argue about different social and economic things, but when it comes down to it, it is a larger picture of an elite power structure that is subjugating us little people. It was in 2016.
So that's quite a clip. That is MAGA waking up to that they've been duped. And the weird thing is the Democrats never woke up to the fact that they were duped. When I did Force the Vote, which revealed that the Democrats were liars and never, ever were ever going to do what they got elected to do, people turned on me. The Democrats turned on me. They didn't turn on their elected representatives who were betraying them right in their face. They turned on me. They made me out to be a right-winger because I wanted them to get a vote on Medicare for all.
Right.
What? That is the craziest thing. But there's people, all my Democrat friends in Hollywood, all hate me over that. They all call me a right-winger because I wanted the Democrats to do what they ran on. And so I felt like this guy feels in 2025. I felt like that guy in 2020.
Yeah.
So I actually felt like that guy in 2016 when they cheated Bernie Sanders, and the chairperson of the DNC admitted it in her book. Elizabeth Warren said it on CNN that they cheated Bernie Sanders and the election was rigged, the primary. And then Bernie Sanders went on to endorse Hillary Clinton without demanding one thing from her. Not one. That's what I knew.
It was Donna something or
Donna Brazile.
Donna Brazile, that's right.
And she even said after the Seth Rich murder, she kept her shades down because she knew that wasn't just a random murder. Anyway, there it is. And good on MAGA, because I will say this, they are much more willing to criticize their leaders than the Democrats that I know are.
Unless they're paid not to.
Right.
So the Democrats, are paid not to. And I don't mean just by cutouts. I mean, the jobs are what? Showbiz? You're paid to be a good Democrat on top of everything else.
That's
a
right.
Party member. The MAGA people that are saying, actually, idiot from the quartering go, well, we need to focus on hating the left. Some dumb shit like that. And that's a guy that got a cash injection like your old boy Chunk Yogurt back in the day. All the regular people, what are they? They're not going to notice something didn't happen they wanted to happen? You got to be paid for that. I'm not paid for that. If I were paid for it, I would start saying the opposite, but they have never invited me. I don't get to go to Riyadh. I don't get any Hasbro money, Jimmy. It's been... I feel like I'm a good advocate.
Yeah. Okay, well, if you like to hear my jokes about this, I'll see you in Irvine, California, Australia, Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving, and Pottstown, Pennsylvania on December 6th. October 19th, we'll be in Irvine, California. We'll be in Australia. Then we'll be in Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving, and then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.